Okay, so I want to now talk about Blackboard, since this is where your hub is. This is where you're going to be spending all your time with all the information that we're going to go through. So I'd rather spend the next half an hour or so explaining what is actually found on here and to help you navigate what's here. All right, first thing I just want to mention is this is basically what you're going to see. This is a student's point of view. Everything will look pretty much the same. The exception is going to be this orange bar that you're seeing up here. This is just telling me that in Blackboard, since I'm the professor, I can edit that Blackboard and set up things and stuff, but this is telling me that I'm in the student preview mode, as you can see, to let me know this is how the students see it. So you'll see pretty much the same thing. You just won't have this orange bar up here. Okay. All right. So let me explain to you. This is what we refer to on this side over here as the dashboard. All right. This gray thing. All right. So this is our dashboard over here. You're going to see the welcome start here. That's what this is over here. And everything I'm going to explain is written here also. Okay. So tell you a little bit about that. I'm going to, in here, like I said, you're going to email me here at where this inbox area is, which I'll explain where that is. But everything is explained over here briefly of this dashboard. Okay. The contact information, we're required to put this in here. So I want to just show you what what you're going to find here. My name's over here. Even though the email says my college email over here, do not, and that's what all this is explaining over here, do not email me at this college email. I had to put something there. It was required for me to put something there. I don't want you to. I want you to actually email me here, which is located over here, which I'll go back to. Okay. You'll also see information about the tutoring center, science, the solution center, and a virtual campus stuff over here. If you have any questions, you can go over here and contact them if you need to. All right, so let's go back over here to our dashboard. You'll see now the inbox. This is important. This is where you're going to be emailing me. This is where I'm going to be emailing you. This is all our communication is going to be happening here. All right. You'll see the number over here change. If there's something that I sent you, I will see something that, I'm sorry, in the inbox if I sent you something or if you send me something. Um, to create a message, I think you can pretty much figure that out. All the students in our class are in here. So if you want to send an email, an umbrella email, and say, hey, look, we're going to do a Zoom session all together on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Everyone is more than welcome to join us. The Zoom invitation is down below. So you could do that if you want to talk with all your other, send an email to all your other students, your classmates. And also, this is where you're going to see me in here, this Dr. Gamaro instructor. So that's where you're going to email me. Okay. I will check this twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, on holidays, on Sundays. My wife won't be too happy with that, but I'm one of these people that just don't like to have 30 or 40, or not even 10 emails in my mailbox at one time, because that means I have to sit down and go through them, which I will do, but I'd rather check this 2 or 3 times throughout the day so that I have, maybe 2 or 3 emails at a time. I can rather do that. But I too want you to check this at least two times, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, because there are days that I'm going to be sending 2 emails a day on certain things. But I do email you. I'll be emailing you every Sunday for the new week material. And there's usually 2 emails that I'll be sending you on Sundays, one for lecture, one for lab. And throughout the week, you'll be expecting another 2 or 3 emails throughout the whole week, if not more than that. So we'll be doing a lot of communication over here. Course notifications and announcements. I sometimes use those to announce certain things, some events that's happening on campus that you want to go to. I do have that too. I don't really use Ask the Instructor. Just email me at the Blackboard mail over here. And frequently asked questions. If you have a question about the course itself, check over the frequently asked questions area before you email me. It might answer your question. Okay, so that's pretty much this block on Blackboard. Okay, now this is where you're going to be spending a whole lot of time. Okay. First things first, you're going to see the syllabus and other documents. If we click on that, here's where you could download the course syllabus. All right. If there's any revisions I got to do, I don't know. There's sometimes, the power went out for a whole week. If we had another hurricane and you couldn't get onto Blackboard, I might have to change things. That's very rare, but you'll find a revision over here if that's what I have to do. Your course calendar and checklist that I talked about is over here too. If you want to watch this video discussion on the syllabus that you're watching right now, you could do that too. That's right over here. This is where that entering survey I want everybody to do and have this submitted by this Saturday. All you got to do is just download this, type in your answers. Don't print it out. Type in your answers. I created it where it's a document form where you could just type in your answers, save it with a different name like your first and last name, and then email it to me. You can use attachments to the inbox Blackboard mail. The only thing is I have to mention too is that you could only attach one thing at a time. If you want to attach two things, you're going to have to send two emails through Blackboard mail. Not a big thing, but just let you know about that. So that's where that is. If you want to look at the laboratory objectives and the lab objectives, they're right over here. You can print them out yourself if you want to go through them. I'm not going to bore you and talk about those. They're pretty straightforward. When I do the discussion boards, if you want to see what I am using on the grading policy, there is a copy of it in the syllabus itself, but you could also print it out over here. The grading rubric is there. How to sign up for the ProctorU. There's the document right there. Just download it. I explained to you pretty much how to already do it, but you can print it out over here. If you haven't done your lab kits, this is the information that you're going to need to get to do. So that's what that is. Mastering A&P, I'll show you where that is on the dashboard of Blackboard, but the registration, everything about it is right over here. You could just print this out, or not even print it out, just read it, and you could just do that. But make sure you do that sometime today, as well as also doing the ProctorU stuff today too. Okay, and then this is just a Council of Science editing editors guidelines. Not if you're curious about it, it's right there. I kind of added it. Okay, so that's what you're going to find here with syllabus and other documents. Okay, CCM policies. If you want to go over those yourself, you could do that. But what I want to spend now time talking about is where all your lecture learning materials are and where your lab learning materials are. We'll refer to it as lecture learning modules and lab learning modules. Let's click on lecture learning modules. Okay. In here, you're going to have the course description to get you a little bit about what the course is all about. But each one of these, here's chapter 1, here's chapter 2, here's chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and so forth. Okay. So let me show you what you're going to find in one of these. When you go to the first chapter, the human body, or I refer to it as the intro to A&P, you're going to click on this. And everything is over here. You're going to see a little table of contents here. Now we could widen this a little bit by clicking on that little box. And you're going to see the chapter overview. So you get to see it in like a chart form what's happening over here. Okay. A little bit introduction of what this chapter is all about. Then you're going to have the reading assignment and really the PowerPoint presentation. Now, here's the PowerPoint presentation up here. You're going to click this and you're going to be able to download it and use that. Up to you if you want to print it or not. I'll talk about how to use this with my videos in a moment, but that's where the PowerPoint is, okay? And it's telling you what chapters or chapter you got to read. I do want to also mention too that everything that you're going to need to know about the tests and quizzes are going to be in my PowerPoint. They're not short at all. It is like a textbook, but follow it with my videos, video lectures. If you do the video lectures and the PowerPoints, you'll be fine with all the quizzes and exams. The book itself is if you're still confused or you need to go to another resource to solidify that material, then go to the book. But I think you'll be totally fine with my PowerPoint and my video lectures. When we go to this other one, narrated lectures, that's where it's over here. Okay, so here's the intro. This is the video lecture. So let me click on this, and I want to introduce you to what you're going to see over here. You got an advertisement.
If you want to ace your paper, download Grammarly. Are you?
Skip the ads.
Infection and platelets are going to help clot blood so you don't hemorrhage when you get a cut.
Close this for a moment. Okay, so what we have over here is this. Let me widen this a little bit so you can see what's going on. All right, what I did was there's some people that love to use the Khan Academy style, which is basically just the his drawing tablet and him talking. You can hear him narrating in the background. I chose not to do that. I recorded these probably about 8 years ago, so I was already set. I was set for the pandemic. I was ahead of my times. I had all these videos. I did the videos mainly because I couldn't deal with 3 snow days in a row that caused us to have cancellations in class. And now they're really behind. So I just now have students, there's a snow day, I'm teaching a live class, just watch my video, you're not gonna miss anything. Okay, so let me explain what's gonna happen over here. What you're seeing here is, here's my PowerPoint, the PowerPoint that you're gonna download and use, okay? So here's the PowerPoint. There, I do a lot of art therapy. Right now, you're just seeing a little embryo up there, but on the whiteboard, I do a lot of art therapy. I do color-coded, that kind of stuff. So I want you to get that. And you also see me walking around and talking. I'm Italian, so I use my hands quite often. But I actually recorded this in front of a live classroom. So this feels as though you are in the classroom. People raise their hands. I answer the questions with that. It's not like there's no one in the classroom. It's in a live classroom. And I wanted to put that in there so that people, again, would feel as though they're taking a course. They're in the classroom with me. I actually recorded this at CCM. This is your lab room. If you ever went to an Anatomy and Physiology 1 lab room, I think that's room SH102. That's what this is over here. We're just giving you a heads up about that. Anyway, so that's why I created it like this. I get a lot of compliments about this from students who've taken this course before the pandemic, during the pandemic, even now. I guess we're out of the pandemic, right? But who knows? So that's what's happening over here. Now, the other thing I want to mention too is the sound. I just want you to listen to something.
You got yourself a urinary protected and locked, right? We're going to keep it in the skull, nice hard area. Someone knocks on your head, it's not going to go and damage, hopefully, your brain. So it makes sense about this. But the nerves, the wires that go out of there, will make sure that you could have electric and Wi-Fi and everything in your house.
Okay, so I wanted you to just listen to that because some students have mentioned to me that I sound muffled. I didn't have the best microphone over here. However, the students who have always used this, they said, you know what, Dr. Gamal, but when we put headphones on or earbuds or something of that nature, it drowns out everything else, and now it's perfect. I can hear now very clearly what you're saying. So that's my suggestion to you, that if you can't hear this well, I'm sorry about the microphone, the audio system that I had used, but if you use a headphone or you use your earbuds or something like that, you should be able to hear this much clearer. You'll get in a routine of what's going to work out for you. So that's what my suggestion is, okay? So let me zoom out of this for a moment, and I want to show you what else I have over here. So this is Intro to A&P, okay? And I do the whole PowerPoint, but the video lecture is broken down into 4 sections here. I usually have an A01, an A02, A03, A04, sometimes a B01 or something of that nature. You need to make sure you watch all of these. Sometimes there's 6 or 7, sometimes there's only 2 videos. But you got to watch all of them over here. For this one here, the A01, when you zoom down here and you click on Show More, in the description, I have all the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in that A01 video over here. If I click on the A02, you will see that this changed, okay? And this is what I talk about in this video and so forth. So you could follow along with the PowerPoints. okay? Now, I do want to mention to you what students, successful students have told me to do, that they do with study, all right? So this is what, and I'll put this in an email also. If you haven't read any emails so far about this, you aren't reading my emails because I mentioned this quite a few times. Basically, the best way to do this is to have two digital devices open. This is what students have told me in the past, successful students. Have two digital devices. One digital device, like your laptop, will have this video going. The second device, whether you're using a tablet or another computer or your cell phone, and you have the actual PowerPoint opened. When you have those two things open, and then you have because sometimes this PowerPoint might not be so clear, it might be blurry. But if you have it right as a download onto your tablet or something, it is going to be crystal clear. It'll be clean, it'll be very, very nice. If you have these two digital devices, one with my video, one with the PowerPoint, and then you have your notebook open, sit down as though you're taking the class. And you could do that. What's nice about this, obviously, is that you can pause this, that you can rewind it if you wanted to, that you can fast forward. There's even a way on here, I saw someplace over here, where you can actually make me sound like a chipmunk and go a little bit faster on areas that you already know. So you get to do that. You could look at this at 3 o'clock in the morning. You could do this 2 or 3 times in one day. So make it the way you want. You could also throw in the closed captions over here, right? The CC, all right? They're pretty good over here. Obviously, with some of the words, I have to talk very clearly for it to work this well. And I talk like this, it will put all the words properly. But I don't talk like that. But it does pretty well. I would say good 90% of the material. You can see the closed captions down here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you on the YouTube and my video lectures. Okay, and the tips that I want to show you with working with the two digital devices. All right, so let's go back to this area here. So I already showed you these things here, by PowerPoint video lecture. Now let's talk about the review question set. Click on that. Okay, so the review question set. These questions are key to passing my course. Okay, here we go. So when should you do these? How should you do these? Okay, I have one for every one of the chapters, so to say. They're all multiple choice. This first one has 18 questions to it. Here's my suggestion on how to go about doing this. Once you do the video lecture in PowerPoint and you take in all your notes and you feel as though you're ready to take an exam or a quiz on this chapter, close everything, print this out, and see if you could answer these questions. Now, I also want to mention to you that if you think C is correct, you better know why A, B, D, and E are incorrect. Okay? This will take longer for you to do if you haven't been doing this in your previous courses. But that's the proper way to really take an exam. As you go through this more and more, it'll be second nature to you. But you need to know why this C is correct, and you need to know why all the other choices are incorrect. Now, I'm not saying C is correct for this one, by the way. Okay, and you got to do that. Now, once you go through that, and if you can't answer some of those questions, you need to go back to your after you do all 18 questions, maybe give yourself 20 minutes to do that. You go back to your notes. And if your notes have this information in there, you took good notes. But if you don't have this information in there, you didn't take good notes. You thought something was not important, but if it's on my quiz, that concept is important. I created these review question sheets because I picked out all the significant concepts that you need to get from that PowerPoint or from that video lecture. If you are void of one of those or two of those or 10 of those question material things in your notebook, then you're not taking your notes down correctly. You need now to go back to the PowerPoint and the video lecture and try to find out how you can correct your note taking by putting that stuff in there, okay, into your notes. And then you can answer that question. You can put little notes over here if you want to, because you'll want to use these review question sets as your so-called study guides to study for your final exam. Okay. Now I don't have the answers to these questions. Okay. I don't give you the answers for a couple reasons. First off, I don't want people to memorize the answers. That's not the reason why we did that. Okay. I'm doing it because I want you to understand that like negative feedback is a big concept. If you have nothing in your notes about negative feedback, then you're going to need to understand why what the correct answer is by going back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Another reason why I don't give the answers here is because 20 to 25% of my quizzes and exams will have these questions on there verbatim. So if I gave you the answers, you're going to get those answers correct on the exams and quizzes. I'm not going to do that. So I reward the students by doing these correctly by putting some of these questions on the quizzes and exams. Okay, so that's what's on there. Now, after you go through this, all right, then you can meet up with 2 or 3 other, well, maybe 1 or 2 other students. So good, three people is a good number. Meet up with Skype or on campus or whatever, and go over the answers. Do not do the questions together. Have everyone do the questions by themselves at their own pace, because sometimes students will take longer or shorter amount of time to go through it. Then go over it with them and say, you know what? I picked C for number 1. You picked B. Why did you pick B? She may be the one that's correct and you're not. And you get to learn from each other with that. Maybe they can give you a better analogy. Maybe they have a mnemonic for you to learn. Maybe they drew a picture. I don't know. But this is where you're going to be learning from other students. Okay? I'm not going to give you the answers to this if you email me. It's not going to happen. Okay? I'm not going to be with you during exams or quizzes, or if you're going to a nursing program. You need to know how to fish. I can't give you the fish. But if you email me and say, there could be 1 or 2 questions that you still don't know. If you email me and you say, you know what, Dr. Gamaro, I have a question on number 3. I understand that A and B and C are incorrect, but I'm confused about D and E. In your PowerPoint on slide so-and-so, you have, it could be distal, but you also mentioned on the video lecture that sagittal deals with an olecranon area also. So I'm confused on what this is. If you prove to me that you have gone through this question, then I will surely give you guidance on where to go. I might say to you, you're absolutely right. But if you go to slide 26 on that PowerPoint, notice what it says about the antecubital area. I usually get an email coming back to me saying, Dr. Gamaro, thank you so much. You just resolved everything. So I'm not going to give you answers to this, but I will surely guide you. Okay, but you have to prove to me that you have gone through the question. All right. So that's what I want to say about that. All right. So that's the review questions. Then over here, there's strongly suggested activities if you want to do that. And then also there's a discussion board thing over here to talk with other students. It is not required, but if you want to reach out to other students about stuff, you could do that. Okay, so that's pretty much what you're going to see in each one of these. Let me go back over here. In each one of these learning modules. All right, and you'll be spending quite a bit of time there. All right, let's talk about the lab learning modules over here. Okay, so here you have the course description. This is where you're going to find your A&P1 lab guide manual. This is the 101-page thing. I highly recommend that you download this. Whether you want to print it out or not, it's up to you, but at least you need to download it because we're referring to those. You'll need to have to do a lab safety contract. This is mandatory. You can download it over here. You're going to have to print it out, sign it, scan it, and then you're going to have to email me it back. You cannot use the lab kit or the dissecting kit unless this has been handed to me. So I need this to be signed and submitted to me by next Monday. That would be the 19th of September. Okay, so I need you to do that. This is required that you do this. Otherwise, you'll get zeros on the lab experiments that contain the dissections. So do this today. Gotta knock this out. Okay. All right, and then we have, let's say, it's similar to the lecture learning modules. I have lab reports here for you to do. Okay, lab report number 1, lab report number 2, lab report number 3, lab report number 4, and so forth. Okay, so let me show you the first lab report over here, what it kind of entails. It's going to look very similar to what I had before. You're going to have an overview in a chart form over here. You're going to have the introduction of what the lab is going to encompass. And here's the lab report. You're definitely going to need to download it. And when you download it, you're going to need to type in all your answers as you see what I'm doing over here. Okay? I don't want you to print them out and handwrite them. I want you to type them out. And I have it where I created this where they're all, these documents are all formatted in a way that you could just do that. Okay? Type in everything over here. Even when there's big blocks over here, you can type in your answers. Okay? And so forth. Okay? Once you do that and answer all those, and like I said, up here, it kind of tells you in the lab book what it's referring to. Make sure you put your name up here too. Okay. Then you're going to save it as, and then you're going to submit it. I'll show you how to submit it in a moment. Okay. So make sure you type in all your answers. Don't handwrite them. Okay. The reading or the PowerPoint is over here, and it tells you what to read if you want to do that too. The PowerPoint pretty much has everything there. I also have a video lecture that corresponds with this. Okay, and you just click on each one of these. And the laboratory exercises, it's telling you what you need to do over here. Okay. And this is if you want to do a discussion board. In other words, if you want to discuss things with your classmates. So that's pretty much what you're going to do over here. I'll show you where to submit it in a moment. But that's pretty much, let me go back to the lab learning modules. That's pretty much what you're going to find for each one of these. Okay? Pretty straightforward. All right. Mastering A&P is also over here. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you this properly because in student preview mode, it's not going to allow me to show you because I have to sign up as a student. It doesn't work out that way. So you go to Mastering A&P. When you click on that, you'll be able to register for Mastering A&P, and you'll be able to get your access code and do it through there. So this is where I want you to do the Mastering A&P. The instructions we found in the syllabus over here. Okay. Okay, so back over here, I also want to show you assessments. The assessments is where you're going to be taking all your quizzes, all your exams, where you're going to be submitting things. You could take this practice quiz over here. The practice quiz is just to give you, they're basic questions. It's not going to hurt or hinder your grade. It's just to give you an idea of how to go about taking one of my exams or quizzes. It shows you how things are shown on there. The syllabus quiz, after you watch this video lecture on this syllabus and you read the syllabus itself, there's a 10 questions quiz that you got to take. I need this done by this Saturday. Make sure you do all that. Is worth 1% of your grade. It's just pretty basic material to make sure that you and I are on the same page with the syllabus. Lecture quizzes, there's nothing that's open right now, but you would see them over here. Okay, and that's where you would open them up. Same thing with the lecture exams. Lab practical exams are over here too. Let me go back to the lecture discussion boards. The first one that you're going to have to do is this introduction of yourself. You'll need to start a thread on there. Everything is explained in the syllabus, and I'll explain a little bit later about these. You have to make an avatar of yourself. Okay, that's you click on that. It's very easy to do. I want you to be able to give me an idea of a little bit about yourself that you're going to talk to your classmates about. Long-term career goals. What are you most concerned about with taking an online course? Have you ever taken an online course? What are your hobbies? Make sure that you cover all this material so that you get the full points. All right. Also, there's also another discussion board that you're going to need to do, but this is for lecture exam number 1. I'll explain all about that later on. I also put in dates of when things are due also. Okay. So let me go back to assessments. And this is where you're going to be putting your lab reports. Okay. When you click on one of these areas over here, this is where you're going to upload your completed lab report, and you're going to put it in here. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So that's where you're going to do all your assessment. Lastly, in this section, supplemental resources. If I find a good diagram or something like that, I'll add that there. But right now, there's nothing in there. Okay, so it's just another place for me to put stuff. Okay, then you're going to find over here my grades. This is where all your grades will be located as things get graded. They put the CCM email in here. Do not, I repeat, do not email me at this place here. All right, this will just be thrown in with all my college email, and it'll get lost. And there's going to be like a long delay for me to get back to you. The best place, the only place, is up here, the inbox Blackboard mail. That's the place to get in touch with me. And then there's other information here about tutoring that you could look up. It gives you information about when tutoring is and so forth. Okay, so that is pretty much what you're going to find on Blackboard. It's going to be your hub. This is the place that you're going to be spending all your time for this course. And that's where you and I are going to be contacting with each other. Okay, all right, so that's that.